We're here for one reason. One reason. That's to protect our children. And I come at this as a mother who knows from the second you first hold that baby, you are hardwired to do everything in your power to protect them. It's that simple. And it's the first time you put them in a car seat, the first time you tell them not to run into the street, you make sure they have a bike helmet on, you make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, and as they get older, you make sure that they're safe when they leave the house, and you impart to them all the knowledge you have as an adult to this child on what it takes for them to stay alive and to stay safe. And that's why it was an important priority of mine as we knew our children were heading back to school in my first day as governor. 4 weeks ago today, seems a little longer. 4 weeks ago today, I announced a universal mask mandate, which seemed like a simple issue, ends up being fairly controversial in some circles, but it doesn't matter. Those masks are like the seatbelts. They protect your children. And I'm glad there's been incredible compliance, and to our education leaders, the principals of the various schools that are represented here, I thank them for enforcing this to make sure our kids are safe. We also work closely with our schools to prioritize in-person learning. Remote learning, interesting experiment. It ended up being a disaster. Yes, it was a better alternative than nothing, but we know we need our kids back in a classroom so they can make up for the lost year and start feeling that sense of normalcy that was long denied our children. And many of them ended up having hopefully short-term and not long-term impacts on their own mental health because of that isolation and separation. But we had an opportunity back in May when 12 to 17-year-olds were authorized by the CDC and ultimately New York State to be vaccinated. Now, this goes back to May. This tool has been out there for months, knowing that kids would have the summer, they'd be back in the school in the fall, and there was a vulnerability created. And maybe back in May, people thought, well, the virus is almost over, my child doesn't need it, we're going to get through this. And then the Delta variant just skyrocketed, the number of cases because of the Delta variant. And as you're seeing cases all over America, the children are the ones getting sick. It's like putting your kids in a car on a busy highway with no seatbelt, a young, inexperienced driver, and saying, good luck, you're out there. Good luck, I'm sure you'll be fine. We as parents cannot do anything to endanger our children. And keeping them unvaccinated during a global pandemic, which is not over yet, my friends, is something I can't comprehend as a parent. And I'm calling all parents to understand that, yes, more time, if you needed more time to make sure that it was safe, to see other people had gone forth, look at your own state. We have over 13.5 million people vaccinated with at least one dose, 12 million with both doses, and many, many young people. But our numbers for this age group, about 54% statewide, and I know they're lower in this zip code. So to increase the vaccination rate, I'm appealing to people personally, but we're hitting the road. We're taking vans out there. I announced a couple weeks ago, we announced a Vax to School campaign. And we're targeting the communities with low vaccination rates among young people, particularly communities of color. And we set up a web page for parents. We set up all kinds of information. And I also said we're going to bring pop-ups. We'll make it so easy on you. And that's what you see behind me. And I want to thank our friends here on the ground for being willing to host this. And we're going to have over 120 sites and vans all over the state to make sure that parents, first of all, visibly see how easy this is, and in partnership with the schools, let's get the parental consent forms in the hands of parents, make it normal, make it seem just another routine, just like you couldn't go to kindergarten without your vaccinations, my friends. We all know that. And this program will run through the fall. And this clinic here is going to be from 11 a.m. to 5:30 tomorrow. So parents, protect your kids. This is the combination of their seatbelt, their bike helmet and car seat, everything else that you would do naturally to protect your child. Getting them vaccinated should be just as natural as that. It's safe, it's smart, and you will not regret it. Because I cannot imagine the regret a parent does feel when they had their child unvaccinated, that child gets sick or worse. I'm going to guess as a mom, that's the guilt you do not want to live with. So I encourage you, be smart, come down here, visit our websites, check it out, and I thank everybody who's making sure the school environment's safe, from the principals, administrators, and the teachers who've gone back and been vaccinated themselves. I hold you out as heroes for what you did last year remotely, and for the passion that you bring to your jobs to make sure that all these children, particularly here in New York, because those are the ones I'm concerned about, that they have a best shot at a healthy life, and that we all get through this pandemic together. And it starts in neighborhoods right like this in central Brooklyn. I want to thank you to the media. Thank you for getting the word out. We need your voices. We need you to ramp this up and let people know that it's not too late. You can still do this.